Welcome back to another episode of Controversial Car Topics. Here it's more about the comments than the video. In this short video I'm going to discuss a question, statement or opinion, and I'm going to give it my definition and also the reasoning behind it by using examples. Almost everything in this video are opinions and not straight up facts. As soon as you're done watching this video, I invite you to discuss the topic in the comment section. The question of today is your car truly American or European or Asian? And this is not really the right question, but I had to come up with some sort of sexy sounding video title. The real question of today is questioning a car's nationality. And this all sounds rather confusing, but let me explain by telling another anecdote. A couple years ago, I went to an American car meet. Mind you, a American car meet, not a classic American car meet. Modern day cars, as long as they were American, were welcome. And eventually, two guys show up in an old Ford Fiesta from like 2001. And I was like, oh, come on. Why are you even trying? But, sure enough, they were let in by the traffic warden at the entrance gate. And I get it. It's a Ford, an American car maker, but the car was developed in Europe, for Europe, and the production of this particular generation doesn't even take place in America. And here is my first question to you. If you would have been the traffic warden, would you let this pass through? I wouldn't, because it's not truly American. You feel me? But then, what is truly American? What is truly European? What is truly Asian? Now, that is what we're going to try and find out in this video. And as always, I'm going to wind back the clock a bit and take a short look at history. Because there once was a time when the world used to be a lot easier and clearer. You had cars from America, you had cars from Europe, and you had cars from Japan. Built over there, designed over there, and sold over there, and also sold elsewhere every once in a while. But one could say they had a national identity. You could tell where these cars came from by the characteristics. But fast forward through the decades, and by the 1970s and 1980s, things start to get blurry. The automotive industry moved from being a national industry into becoming an international industry. Factories all over the world, models specifically made by a foreign car maker for one particular country, cross-platform sharing, and rebadging are the order of the day. The current automotive landscape is confusing, to say the least. But how you determine whether a car is truly from a certain country is a personal judgment, hence this video. But I have laid out 4 parameters which can help you to shape your personal consideration. What determines a car's nationality? The first question and easy answer is where the car is built. Practically speaking, it's where the car is constructed, is where its birthplace is, and bears the country's nationality. And this was easy to tell some 60 years ago, but is very hard to do today. Sure, a car like a Chevrolet Corvette is pretty simple. It's made by an American car manufacturer and built in America, and also sold in America. An all-American car. But how American is your Chrysler 300, which is constructed over an assembly plant in Brampton, Canada? And how Japanese is your Toyota Avalon if it's built in America or China, instead of Japan? And then I haven't even talked about the parts needed for production. Are these made in-house or outsourced from a company not located in the respective country? If you do have or do not have an answer to the first question and haven't fully decided yet if the car is from a certain country, then this is the second question. Cars are developed and designed with a certain demographic and geographic in mind. Families want minivans, mountaineers want an SUV, and Europeans want anything that is fuel efficient. Take Volkswagen, that's German, right? And sure enough, I do consider the Golf a true European car. Compact, fuel efficient, and with good ergonomics. No weird or frivolous design tricks. Just your average Germans don't joke city hatchback. But what about the Volkswagen Atlas? A large SUV even bigger than the Touareg. How German is this? The car was designed by Germans, but that doesn't make it truly German if its intended market is the United States and China. How German is this Volkswagen when it's exclusively built and sold in the United States and China? and not in Europe. Okay, so what if we do not look at where a car is built or designed, but look at where it's sold? Does that help us in any way to further establish the car's nationality? Once again, it is up to you to decide. Some parts of the world have grown up with cars that have grown to become a cult classic over there. Think of the Lada, or the Vaz 2101 for purists, that is the national symbol of the Russian car industry. You see a Lada and you immediately think it's Russian. But what if it told you it's not Russian at all? It's a rebadge of the Italian Fiat 124. There it is again, albeit heavily modified. Sure, it's a typical Russian car because it was sold in Russia, but underneath it's still an Italian. You can tell that these questions or criteria I at first mentioned aren't really helping you, and so we have to resort to the last step. And the last step is to just judge by yourself. Do you consider a car to be truly from country X? Let me give you an example. Last week I was once again at an American car show, surprise surprise, and a Tesla Model S showed up. And here is where it gets really tough, as it passes all the criteria I mentioned earlier. The Tesla Model S is built by an American car maker, is built in America, it is designed by an American, it is designed mostly for the American market, it is sold in America. And so, is the Tesla a true American car? Well, according to this video, it is. But don't expect a lot of positive response when you show up at American car meet. Why? Because it's electric. And American car shows are all about the classic V8 powered muscle cars. That is real American. And see, this is where emotion comes into place. Who are you to decide what is truly American simply because it lacks that little extra since it's electric, but is still even faster and more powerful than some of the most premier muscle cars? Also American icons. And that is what I want to end this rather confusing video with. It's your personal criteria when it comes to determining whether a car is truly from a certain country or not. And you're gonna need it next time you're at a Italian car meet, for instance. You expected Ferraris and Lancias, but there is someone turning up in a Fiat Punto from 2006. Or the next time an Asian car meet is being held and people expect to see Kia Stingers and Nissan GTRs, and here I am turning up in my bland-looking Hyundai XG. Let me know in the comments what you think. What is your criteria when it comes to determining where a car is from? What do you consider a truly American or European or Asian car? There are no right or wrong answers.